Hi everyone, it's me again, and in today's episode, we're gonna make this lovely crossbody tote bag. I call this bag the roaming tote bag. I designed this tote bag for my trip to Indonesia where I am right now. I needed a large enough bag to carry all of my personal essential during my flight and in the airport, pretty much when I'm on the road, but also I can use for my daily bag at my destination. So this bag fits the bill. It has lots of pockets. There's a front pocket compartment here. At the back here, there's a luggage sleeve that comes with a zipper pocket, zipper closure, and in the interior, there is a large pocket compartment where you can put tablet or smaller size laptop, such as 13-inch laptop, also a zipper pocket and 2 slip pockets. I have the PDF pattern available and this one is free, so you can get that at YoanSewingStudio.com. The pattern consists of the cutting chart, also the template for the bottom base and the D-ring tabs. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and without further ado, let's jump straight into it. First, we're gonna work on the front exterior of the bag. Here I've got the upper panel and the lower panel. We're gonna sew them with the right sides facing together using 1/2 inch seam allowance. For this project, I highly recommend to use heavy-duty thread, the one that is suitable for your machine. I use Gurman upholstery thread. This thread is really nice and sturdy. It works out perfect for this project. Once you've done that, you want to finger press the seams towards the lower panel and then top stitch. Now we're going to work on the front pocket, so let's lay the pocket exterior and the pocket lining right sides together, secure with some clip, and then stitch along the top edges. So we're going to use 1/2 inch seam allowance throughout this project unless otherwise stated. Now let's trim off the seam allowances down to 1/4 inch, flip to the right side, finger press the seams along the top edge there, and then top stitch. Measure 1/2 inch from the top edge and then put a little mark right on the center there, and then install the female button right on that mark. Next, we're going to mark the position for the male button. So you want to measure 6 inch from the top edge right on the center, and of course put a little mark there. And then we're going to install the male button. You may want to add a piece of 4-letter fabric on the wrong side just to add extra reinforcement. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of fabric glue here and then position this little patch of fabric on the wrong side right around the 6 inch point mark. And then we're going to proceed with installing the male button according to the manufacturer's instructions. Position the pocket panel with the wrong side facing down, matching the button snap, and then base stitch the sides and the bottom with about 1/4 inch seam allowance. Next, we're going to work on the back pocket / the luggage sleeve. So you will need an 8 inch long zipper. I'm using a metal zipper here. Now let's sew the zipper tab. So you want to cut 2 little rectangles and then fold and press them in half widthwise, just like that. Position the zipper tab on the zipper tape extension right next to the start of the zipper, just like shown here, and then clip to secure it for now. And then position the remaining zipper tab on the opposite side, right by the zipper stop. Stitch about 1/8 inch from the edges of the fold there to secure the zipper tabs. So the entire length of the zipper with the zipper tabs here should be about 11 inch. Lay the lower pocket panel with the right side facing up. As usual, we're going to use the basting tape to base the zipper, so let's apply along the top edges there. Now let's take the zipper and lay that right side down, aligning the edges of the zipper tape with the edges of the lower pocket panel. Now again, we're going to stick some basting tape along the top edges of the zipper tape, and then take the lower pocket lining and lay that right side down. Once everything is secured, stitch along the edges with about 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once you've done that, flip to the right side, finger press the seams, both the exterior and the lining fabric, and then top stitch. I am comfortable using my walking foot to do the top stitching, but if you prefer to use your zipper foot, feel free to do so. Next, we're gonna sew the upper panel. So let's apply some more basting tape along the edges of the zipper tape on the right side. Now lay the upper panel with the right side facing down, aligning the bottom edge of the upper pocket panel with the zipper tape, just like shown on the screen right now. And once everything is secured, let's stitch this in place with 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now let's finger press the seams here and then top stitch. Once you've done that, we're going to trim the bottom edge so that the height of this pocket panel will measure 8 inches. Now open the zipper all the way and then take the pocket facing, lay that right side down, secure with some clips, and then stitch all around with 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now let's trim off all the corners. Be careful not to cut through the stitches, and then trim the seam allowances down to 1/8 inch. Turn the pocket to the right side through the zipper. Poke all the corners, make them nice and flat, and then stitch the top and the bottom with 1/4 inch seam allowance. Start stitching about 1/4 inch away from the edge, and no need to back stitch. And then you want to stop stitching about 1/4 inch from the edge. So you want to make sure to leave out long threads so that we can easily make a knot to fasten this. Here I'm pulling the front thread from the back and then simply make a knot. Now I'm going to use my hand sewing needle to bury the thread in between the fabric layer there. Now we have a nice and clean finish. Now position the pocket panel on the right side of the back exterior panel with the wrong side facing down, about 3.5 inch from the bottom edge, and of course you want to center the position. To temporarily hold this pocket, I'm gonna again use this fabric glue stick. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit around the corners, and then using these pattern weights, I'm gonna let the glue set for about 5 minutes or so. Once the glue is set, we're gonna stitch along the side edges with 1/4 inch seam allowance, simply connecting the top and the bottom seams so everything will look nice and neat. Next, we're going to work on the handles. I'm using a genuine leather strap here, so it is a pre-made 1-inch strip. Cut 2 strips about 20 inches long each. Position the strap just like shown here. Simply follow what is shown on the screen right now. Again, to temporarily hold the strap, I use my glue stick right around the edges there, and then use my pattern weights to let the glue set. To mark the seam line of the strap, measure 2¼ inch from the end of the strap, and then draw a horizontal line, and repeat the same to the opposite side. I added a couple of extra clips along the top edge there to make the strap extra secured. And then we're going to stitch the strap in place, making a rectangle from the bottom towards the 2¼ inch point mark there, about 1/8 inch from all the edges. Again, I use my walking foot to do this job. And for the needle, I use denim size needle 116. Also, I lengthen my seam length up to 4 mm for this project. For best results, I recommend to just do a little bit of testing beforehand to see what setting works best for you. So again, there is no need to backstitch in the beginning or towards the end, but rather leave long threads so that we can tie a knot to secure the thread later. Now towards the end, I like to make sure that my needle will fall on the exact same spot as the beginning. As you can see here, I stop and I hand crank my needle to make sure it goes to the particular spot that I want it to. And there you go, guys. Now I'm gonna go to the wrong side and then pull the 2 threads at the front and then make 1 or 2 knots to secure the thread in place. Work the same to the opposite side and also to the remaining handle. Next, we're going to mark the position of the rivets. First, you want to measure 1/2 inch from the bottom seam line and then make a dot mark right on the center, just like so. For the second one, you want to measure 1/2 inch from the upper seam line and again put a dot mark right on the center. Install the rivet on the dotted marks. For this project, I use 7 mm post rivet. So you want to install this rivet according to the manufacturer's instructions, and then you want to repeat the same to the opposite side. Next, we're going to work on the strap connectors. So you want to cut the template and then apply a little bit of glue on the template. I'm just using the Elmer glue here. Now you want to stick the template on the wrong side of the faux leather fabric, just like so, and then cut following the template. Once you've done that, you want to remove the template immediately, and then you want to cut 3 more of this. Now take the side panel, and then first you want to find the center point of the top and the bottom. So just fold this in half and snip about 1/4 inch. You basically want to do this to all of the panels. Next, you want to measure 5/8 inch from the top edge and then put a little mark there. Attach a D-ring to the strap connector fabric. Now I'm going to take my fabric glue stick again and apply that on the wrong side of the fabric, just 1/2 part of it. Now let's fold this in half, matching all the edges. Place a pattern weight or any heavier object on top of the strap connector to let the glue set. Next, you want to apply the fabric glue stick on one of the sides of the strap connector, which will be the wrong side. And then position the strap connector on the right side of the side panel with the glue side facing down, so the top edge of the D-ring should be sitting on that 5/8 of an inch point mark. Again, I'm gonna let the glue set about 10 minutes or so. Measure 3/4 of an inch from the bottom edge of the strap connector and then draw a straight horizontal line to mark it. Once you've done that, you want to stitch as close as you can to the edges from the bottom up to the 3/4 inch point mark. Measure 1/4 of an inch from the upper seam line there and then put a little dot mark right on the center, just like that. And then install a rivet on that mark. Next, we're going to install the lower strap connector. So you want to measure 5 inch from the top edge and then put a dot mark right on the center there. So again, we're going to apply some glue on the wrong side and then position the strap connector with the glue side facing down with the top edge of the D-ring sitting on that 5 inch point mark, and then let the glue set. Now you can stitch the strap connector exactly the same way as we did the upper one. Repeat the same to the remaining side panel. Next, we're going to work on the bottom panel. So you want to use the template of the pattern one to cut your fabric. Snip the center marking there. You will see these 4 lines. So you want to snip about 1/4 of an inch max. Next, you want to cut the stabilizer. I use Decovil for this project. Another alternative, you can use fusible Peltex or fusible foam stabilizer. Fusing a stabilizer to a 4-layer fabric is definitely possible as long as it has regular woven or knit fabric type of backing, which in this case most of them are. So you want to position the stabilizer with the glue side facing down and of course center the position. Fuse it with the wrong side facing up. Now place a piece of paper over it. I'm using freezer paper here. You can also use parchment paper. And then press on lower settings. So I use nylon setting on my iron for this project. You can also try wool setting. I recommend to do a little bit of testing beforehand on a piece of scrap, just to see which setting works best for you. If you wish to add the purse fit, this is the time to do it. We're gonna grab the pattern one again, and then we're gonna transfer all these 4 markings. So first you wanna poke a little hole on the center of the marking there. Now lay the pattern, aligning all the edges. And then using a pen, you wanna make a dot mark on each of the marking through the hole. Alright, I'm gonna use my seam ripper here to cut a little bit of slit, about 1/4 of an inch or so, starting from the marking and going towards the outside there. So you don't want to overdo it. If you need to make the hole a little bigger, you can do it later. So I'm gonna repeat the same to all the marking, making a slit going towards the outer side. I use this 14mm purse fit. You may use any type of purse fit, simply follow the manufacturer's instructions. From the right side of the bottom panel, you want to insert the prongs of a purse foot, and then you want to push it all the way in, and then you want to open the prongs, push them down to lay flat, just like that. Now you want to make sure that the edges of the prong will not sit on the seam allowance area, otherwise you may need to manipulate it a little bit. Now we're going to assemble the back exterior. So let's lay the front and one of the side panel right sides together, secure with some clips, and then stitch with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Once you've done that, finger press the seams, and then you want to repeat to sew the remaining side panel to the opposite side. Now you want to take the back panel and lay that right side down, matching the side edges with the corresponding side panel. Clip to secure them and then stitch this in place. Now you want to match the remaining side edges with the remaining edges of the side panel and then sew. And you should end up with something like this. Now we're going to attach the bottom panel. Start by matching the center point of the long sides of the bottom panel with the center point of the front and back. Now match the center point of the short side with the center point of the side panel there. Once you've pinned all the center points, you wanna continue pinning all around. So the bottom panel may appear a slight larger than the bottom of the bag, and that's expected. So if around the corner you cannot match the edges perfectly, that's totally fine. Once everything is secured, you want to stitch this all around. Use the same 1/2 inch seam allowance, and you want to sew with the bottom panel facing up. And there you go, guys. Now you can turn your back exterior right side out. Alright, now that we've got our back exterior done, we're gonna set this aside and then work on the interior. We're gonna first work on the front interior, which consists of zipper pocket and the slip pocket. So let's work on the slip pocket. So here I've got my slip pocket panels. We're gonna lay them right sides together and then stitch along the top edges with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Press the seams open and then flip to the right side. Press the top edges and then top stitch. Fold the pocket panel in half lengthwise, just like that, and then press to create the center fold crease. Position the pocket panel on top of the front interior panel, matching the bottom and the side edges. Pin to secure this in place, and then stitch the sides and the bottom with about 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then stitch along the center fold crease to divide the pocket into two. Next, we're going to work on the zipper pocket. Draw the zipper template on the right side of the pocket panel, just like shown on the screen right now. Position the pocket panel on the right side of the front panel, the one with the slip pocket already installed, about 1.5 inch from the top edges, and of course you want to center the position and then stitch all around the outline of the template. Once you've done that, as usual, we're going to cut the center line and the corner triangles there. And of course, you want to be careful not to cut through the stitches as you get to the corner. Now let's turn the pocket to the wrong side and then press to neaten all the edges. Prepare the zipper. You will need at least 9 inch long zipper. Simply use all-purpose nylon coil zipper here. Stitch around the start of the zipper to keep the zipper shut. Now you can apply some basting tape on the edges of the zipper tape. Peel the top paper layer off and then position the zipper template on top of the zipper. Make sure everything is centered and neat. Finger press so that the fabric will be sticking on the zipper, and then stitch all around to secure the zipper. Once you've done that, you can trim off any excess zipper. Fold the pocket panel in half, matching the bottom edge with the top edge, just like so. Pin to secure the pocket, and then stitch the side and the top edge with about 1/4 inch seam allowance. And when you sew, make sure that the front panel is out of the way, so only sew the pocket. Next, we're going to work on the padded pocket for the back interior panel. On the wrong side of the outer pocket panel, you want to fuse the foam stabilizer, center position. Now take the Velcro loop or the fuzzy one. You want to cut about 1.5 inch long of this. Apply a little bit of glue on the wrong side and then position that about 1 inch away from the top edge right on the center. And you want to position it lengthwise, just like shown here. And then stitch all around as close as you can to the edge. Now we're going to prep the elastic strap. So cut your elastic about 10 inch long. First, we're going to bind both edges. The length should be the same as the width of your elastic. Wrap the bias tape on the edge, just like that, and then secure with a clip. And then stitch along the edges of the fold, about 1/8 inch or so. Now you want to repeat the same to the opposite side. Take a piece of Velcro loop, which is the rough one. Apply a little bit of glue on the wrong side. Position the Velcro with the wrong side facing down on one of the edge of the elastic, about 1/4 inch from the edge. Lengthwise, and you want to center position, of course. Finger press so that the glue will be sticking on the elastic, and then stitch all around the edges. Next, you want to position the elastic strap with the Velcro side facing up. The side with no Velcro attached should be sitting about 6 inches down from the top edge. Draw a straight horizontal line about 1.5 inch from the edge of the strap. Apply a little bit of glue on the wrong side to temporarily hold the strap in place. To secure the strap, you want to stitch a rectangle from the bottom edge towards the 1.5 inch line, just like shown here. Now let's assemble the pocket. Lay the pocket exterior and the interior right sides together and then stitch along the top edges with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now you can press the seams open, flip to the right side and then press the top edge and then top stitch. Position the pocket on the right side of the back interior panel, matching the bottom and the side edges. Secure with some clips and then base stitch the side and the bottom with about 1/4 inch seam allowance. Assemble the back interior the same way as the exterior panel. However, when you attach the bottom panel, you want to use a slight larger seam allowance, which is 5/8 inch seam allowance. Now it's time to work on the zipper closure. So you want to cut 2 rectangles, which will be the zipper panels. For this project, you will need at least 16 inches long zipper. I use a metal zipper here about 1 inch wide. First, you want to fold the zipper tape extension at the start of the zipper there towards the wrong side on a slight angle, just like that, and then stitch along the edges to hold this in place. Repeat the same to the opposite side. Next, we're gonna fold and press the zipper panels. First, you wanna fold the short side towards the wrong side about 1/2 inch. I recommend to use the seam gauge to keep everything consistent, and then press. Repeat the same to the opposite side. Next, we're gonna fold the long side towards the wrong side, also 1/2 inch, and then press. Do the same to the opposite side. And then we're gonna fold this in half and press. Next, you want to find the center point of the zipper panel. So simply fold this in half widthwise, just like that, and then mark the center fold crease. We're gonna attach the zipper panel on each side of the zipper tape. Make sure you have your basting tape ready, and then apply that along the edges of the zipper tape. So you want to apply the basting tape from the very start of the zipper up to the 14-inch point or the same length as the zipper panel. So just lay the zipper panel parallel to that. Apply the basting tape on both edges of the zipper tape, also on the wrong side. Now remove the top paper layer off, both the right side and the wrong side, only on one of the sides of the zipper tape, since we're gonna install the zipper panel one at a time. Insert the zipper tape into the fold up to about 1/8 inch away from the zipper teeth. So the zipper panel should be hugging the zipper tape. So you want to make sure that everything is nice and even. And once you're happy with it, finger press so that the basting tape will be sticking onto the fabric. Now stitch along the side and the lower edge of the zipper panel with about 1/8 inch seam allowance. Start stitching about 1/8 inch from the top edge. Start from one of the short side, going down to the inner long side, and then go to the opposite side, stopping about 1/8 inch from the edge. So you should end up with something like this. Now let's attach the remaining zipper panel to the opposite side exactly the same way. And that's it, guys. The zipper panel is done. Alright, next we're gonna attach this zipper panel to the back interior. So you want to keep the interior facing wrong side out. We're going to start by attaching the zipper to the back side. So let's unzip the zipper all the way. Find the center point of the back panel. Position the zipper with the wrong side facing down, about 1.5 inch from the top edge. So use a seam gauge and then pin to secure the zipper panel. Now you want to continue pinning. So measuring with the seam gauge 1.5 inch from the top, and then pin the rest of the zipper panel. So here I've already pinned my zipper panel. Now we're gonna go and stitch along the edges of the zipper panel there with about 1/8 inch seam allowance. When you sew, make sure to backstitch a couple of times at the start and towards the end to reinforce the zipper panel. So your zipper panel should look just like this. Now we're gonna repeat to attach the remaining panel to the front side exactly the same way. And there you go. Now to assemble the bag, you want to first unzip the zipper all the way, and I like to tuck the zipper tail inside the bag, just like that. Now you want to fold the top edge opening towards the wrong side. So you want to fold it about 5/8 inch, and then you want to go to the ironing board and press this. Now take the bag exterior and you want to fold the top edge towards the wrong side. For the exterior, you want to fold this about 1/2 inch wide. so a slight narrower than the interior. Now use sewing clips to hold on to the fold. So let's continue folding all around the top opening. And you should end up with something like this. Insert the back interior into the back exterior, so the wrong sides should be touching each other at this point. And of course, you want to make sure that the front side of the interior is facing the front side of the exterior, and the back side of the interior is facing the back side of the exterior. So we're gonna pin the interior and the exterior together. First, we're gonna start by matching the seams. So let's remove the sewing clip. So make sure to lay the seams of the exterior open, just like that, so that it won't be too bulky to stitch through it. Now let's match it with the side seam of the interior. So you want to have the interior sitting a slight lower than the exterior. Now let's reattach the sewing clip. Now let's repeat the same to the opposite side. Next, we're going to match the center point of the exterior with the center point with the interior. So again, remove the sewing clip and then reattach it again with both the interior and the exterior together. And then we're just going to continue all around. So remove the sewing clip and then reattach it again with the interior fabric. Alright guys, once everything is secured here, you want to stitch all around with about 1/4 inch seam allowance. So your bag is pretty much done at this point. Now I'm going to show you how to make the strap. For this bag, I'm going to do two-sided strap using the 4-liter fabric as the outer strap. So first we're going to need to fold the long side edges towards the wrong side, about 1/2 inch wide. So what you want to do, you want to apply some basting tape along the edges there and peel the top layer off. Now fold the long side towards the center, about 1/2 inch wide, and then finger press so that the basting tape will be sticking onto the backing fabric. Now lay the webbing on the wrong side of the 4-liter fabric so that it will conceal the raw edges, and then secure with some sewing clips. So you want to do this on both edges and then stitch along the long sides about 1/8 inch from the edge. Once you've done that, you can attach the hardwares. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you already know how to do it, but if you need a tutorial on how to install the hardware, I'll refer you to a different video, so check that out in the description box below, and I will also include that in the pattern. And that's pretty much it guys. The roaming tote is done. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please share what you make by tagging me on Instagram or Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.